Hello, Mighty Warriors. It's Alicia, and I'm back for another discussion on the Word of God. Today, our verse comes from Genesis chapter 38, and our verse starts with verse 14. And we're going to be talking about Tamar. And Tamar is one of my favorite women in the Bible because she was clever, she was smart. She wasn't a whiner. She wasn't someone who just walked away and said, I'm just going to suffer the fate that, has been bestowed upon me. She took things into her own hands. She didn't sin. She did it within reason and within her power without sinning. But nonetheless, she got what she was entitled to, and she got the job done. And this is why I love the story of Tamar, because if it wasn't for her being so clever and so intelligent and so smart, her children became part of Jesus's line. And so this is why this is why I love this story so much. So if you're not familiar with the story of Tamar, Tamar is the daughter-in-law of Judah. And Judah has two sons, and both of his sons were seen as wicked in God's eyes, and so God killed them. And so, she was left a widow twice. And in the custom of that day, she was part of the household, and so she was entitled to a child or an heir from that house. And the only son that Judah had left was too young. So Judah sent her away until he became of age, but then, he kind of never got back with her, right? So our story picks up where Tamar has discovered that the younger son of Judah, has become of age. She's been promised a child, and obviously Judah has no intention of doing any such thing. So this is where the verse picks up. So we're on verse 14, and it says, she put her widow's garments off from her and covered her with a veil and wrapped herself and sat in an open place, which is by the way of Timnath. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come unto thee, for he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. So I'm going to stop there, but as you can see, she devised a way to get what she was entitled to. She disguises herself as a harlot. She knows Judah's habits, obviously, and he falls right into her little trap, and she becomes pregnant. And, in order for her to prove who the father was, she asks him for payment to provide him with, some personal effects, a signet, a bracelet, and he gives them to her, thinking that she's just going to hold on to him until she gets payment. But in fact, not only does this give her evidence of who the child belongs to, it protects her, because in the end, when Judah finds out she's pregnant, he wants to kill her, and she's like, oh no, this is what happened, and this is legitimate. So if you're ever interested in learning about women of the Bible, check out the story of Tamar, because she's quite fascinating. And there are many smart women in the Bible that were able to survive and thrive despite the society that they were living in, where women weren't given a whole lot of rights or protections. You could see that just because they were living in this type of social environment, they didn't these women didn't, hold their heads down. They were smart, and they were clever, and they got the job done. And so I really love the stories of women like this, because it lets women today know that, you know what, it doesn't matter what kind of situation you might be in. You can be smart, and you can be clever, and you can get the job done. All right, so until next time, see you later.